Hey, 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 welcome back to the channel. And if this is your very first time here, you picked the perfect moment to show up. Because today we are covering something that sent the entire world into an absolute spiral within the last 24 hours. Tampa, Florida, Raymond James Stadium. Day 2 of the BTS World Tour Erarang. And what happened that night was not just a regular concert. This was a night that will be remembered for a lifetime by everyone who was there. And even people who weren't there felt every single tremor of it through their screens. We're talking about a sound glitch so bad that Jungkook personally took to Instagram to apologize. We're talking about Jimin and his long flowing blonde hair that had absolutely everyone in that stadium, including Jungkook himself, completely unable to look away. And we're talking about a Jungkook moment so powerful, it went viral across every corner of the internet within minutes. Get comfortable, grab your snacks, because this video is going to be long, and every single second of it is worth your time. Let's start by setting the scene, because before we dive into the drama and the heart-stopping moments, you need to understand just how massive this whole thing really was. Tampa was not just another tour stop. This was history being made in real time. The BTS World Tour Erarang in Tampa, Florida was part of the highly anticipated North American leg of the tour. Around 180,000 people were expected to attend 3 sold-out shows at Raymond James Stadium on Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday. It was the first time BTS had ever performed in Florida, and the first time they had performed as a complete group in almost 4 years. For years, guys. 4 years. All 7 members, RM, Jin, Suga, Jhope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, completed their mandatory military service in June 2025 and had been working on their newest album, Erarang, ever since. And now here they were, in America, in Tampa, in the best shape of their lives. The 85-date, 34-city Erarang tour supports their 10th studio album, their first post-enlistment release, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and spawned the Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit Swim. So this was not just a comeback. This was BTS returning with everything: experience, maturity, emotional depth, and an album that had already shaken the entire global music industry. And Tampa was the lucky city chosen to be their very first American stop. Even the city itself bowed down to BTS. Mayor Jane Castor bathed City Hall and notable bridges in purple light to welcome 190,000 attendees over a 3-night run. Let that sink in. The bridges of an entire city turned purple for BTS. If that's not a definition of cultural impact, I genuinely don't know what is. Now, let's talk about the person who dominated every conversation, every trending list, every fan cam, and every single screenshot from day 2. Park Jimin. Because if Tampa was already legendary after day 1, then Jimin personally made sure day 2 was something else entirely. If you've been following Jimin's looks and stage presence over the past several months, you already know that his appearances always become the most viral topic at any event. But in Tampa, and especially on day 2, Jimin elevated himself to an entirely different dimension. Jimin appeared on stage with his trademark flowing long blonde hair, exuding a godlike aura. He performed the opening songs, Hooligan and Run BTS, wearing a new outfit that was slightly lighter than the costumes that previously earned him the title of Duke of the North on earlier tours, captivating the stage with perfect dance lines. That long blonde hair. Let me say that again. The long, blonde hair. This was not just a hairstyle choice. This was a statement. It moved like it had a soul of its own every time Jimin spun, jumped, or even simply walked across the stage. Every step he took, every turn he made, that hair became part of the performance itself. And it turns out it wasn't just ARMY who was completely spellbound by Jimin that night. Jungkook, the Golden Magne, the youngest member of BTS, one of the most talented performers in the world, was just as captivated. Actually, maybe even more so. Jimin and Jungkook created a bromance scene during the Tampa concert by touching each other's hair and necks. Yes, you read that correctly. Touching each other's hair. On stage. In front of 60,000 people. Under stadium lights. With multiple cameras pointed directly at them. The fan cam footage capturing that moment exploded across every platform instantaneously. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, every single one was flooded with clips of that moment being replayed hundreds of thousands of times within the hour. Comments like, "I am not okay," "Jungkook is real," and "Jimin's hair has literal magical powers" filled every comment section on every version of that clip. And honestly, those comments weren't wrong. Because Jungkook really did look like a person who had completely lost the ability to pretend he wasn't fascinated. Every time Jimin moved near him, his eyes followed. Every time that long blonde hair caught the wind from Jimin's movements, something in Jungkook's expression shifted in a way that 60,000 people noticed simultaneously and then screamed about together. This was not their first iconic interaction on stage, of course. Jungkook has been delivering moments like this for years. But there was something about Tampa Day 2 that felt different, more raw, more spontaneous, more genuinely them. Less performance, more just two people who genuinely can't help the way they react to each other. On the second day, Jimin showcased his iconic body roll choreography during the impromptu Pied Piper stage, truly captivating the fans. And it was during that Pied Piper performance, with Jimin doing those body rolls, that hair cascading around him, the lights hitting him at exactly the right angle, that the internet officially declared Tampa Day 2 as one of the most iconic concert nights in BTS history. And Jungkook's reaction during that specific moment? Absolutely priceless. Absolutely viral. Absolutely unforgettable. Let's break down exactly what made that hair-touching moment go so nuclear, because the context matters. During Pied Piper, a song that has always had this intense, almost hypnotic energy to it, Jimin performed with a level of freedom and confidence that felt like he was finally, completely, utterly in his element after years away from the stage. The music, the crowd, the lights, and that hair all came together in a way that made it feel less like a concert and more like witnessing something genuinely transcendent. And Jungkook, standing close by, did what Jungkook does. He responded honestly and openly to the person in front of him. The touch was light. It was brief. But it was caught on camera from multiple angles, confirmed by multiple fan cams, and seen by millions of people within hours. And Jimin's reaction, that quiet smile that followed, is the kind of thing that the Jungkook fandom will be analyzing and writing about for the next decade. In Twitter trending lists, tags like #Jungkook, #Jungkook can't stop looking, and #Jimin hair exploded simultaneously. Within less than 1 hour after the concert ended, millions of tweets carrying those tags were flooding the timeline. Fan edits, slow-motion clips, freeze frames, they all started appearing almost immediately, each one offering a different angle on the same breathtaking moment. Immediately after the concert, Jimin became the most trending individual male in the US X, formerly Twitter, music category, dominating the US trending charts. Fans praised Jimin's overwhelming stage presence. And among everything that was trending about Jimin that night, the interaction with Jungkook was at the very top of every list. But wait, because Day 2 wasn't only about beautiful moments and viral clips. There was also drama. Real, tense, uncomfortable drama that for a few minutes made the atmosphere inside that stadium genuinely uncertain. During the BTS Tampa concert 2026, the group faced a temporary problem when a technical glitch stifled the audio during a fan-favorite track, Magic Shop, while it was being performed. This led to a brief disturbance where members reportedly sang slightly off-key. Magic Shop. Of all the songs for a technical glitch to hit, it had to be Magic Shop, one of the most emotionally significant songs in BTS's entire catalog. A song that for years has served as a kind of virtual hug from BTS to ARMY during their darkest moments. A song that people have cried to during breakups, during loss, during anxiety attacks, during the pandemic when nothing else seemed to work. That song. Imagine the atmosphere. 60,000 people already emotional, already crying, already fully surrendered to the moment, and then the audio system goes wrong. The members, already committed to the performance, had to keep going without proper audio support. The result wasn't perfect, and for a few moments, you could feel the collective tension ripple through the crowd. But then something extraordinary happened. ARMY took over. All 60,000 of them. Every single person in that stadium started singing louder, filling the gap left by the failed audio system with their own voices, their own emotion, their own love. What should have been a disaster transformed into one of the most powerful moments of the entire night. Proof that the bond between BTS and ARMY goes so far beyond technology, beyond equipment, beyond anything that can be fixed or broken by a sound engineer. As criticisms began surfacing online regarding the issue, fans quickly came to the septet's defense, saying that the issue was resolved quickly enough. But Jungkook didn't let it go. He couldn't. BTS member Jungkook took to Instagram to express his frustration. He went on Instagram, directly, personally, without anyone asking him to, and apologized. Not because he was afraid of criticism, not because PR told him to, but because for Jungkook, giving ARMY the best possible experience isn't a professional obligation. It's a personal one. It's something he genuinely cares about on a level that goes beyond the stage. ARMY's response to that post? An absolute flood of love and support. You don't need to apologize. You were incredible. Magic Shop was still magic, even without the audio. You made us cry in a completely different way tonight, JK. A moment that began as a technical crisis ended as one of the most heartwarming stories of the entire Tampa run. That's the BTS and ARMY dynamic in its purest form. Now let's talk about the music itself, because underneath all the drama and the viral moments, there was a concert happening, and it was spectacular. The setlist balanced the high-energy Body to Body, which includes the original Ararang melody, and the Billboard-topping lead single Swim from their new album. All other Ararang album songs, including the old hits, were also part of the setlist. The old hits turned out to be a surprise for fans during their performance. Surprise old hits. Do you know what that means for an ARMY in that stadium? It means that in the middle of a concert you've been waiting years for, a song suddenly starts playing that you haven't heard them perform live in 6 or 7 years. And the reaction? Mass hysteria. Thousands of people losing their minds simultaneously. Voices cracking from the emotion of it. Tears that had no warning and came out of nowhere. Fancam videos featuring Jimin's hot freestyle dance during the choreography-free FYA performance quickly surpassed millions of views, heating up social media. The FYA segment, where members are given complete creative freedom with no choreography, no rules, no structure, was where Jimin reminded the world why his name trends every single time he performs. His freestyle was the kind of thing that makes you feel like you're watching something that can't be taught and can't be replicated. Pure instinct, pure artistry, pure Jimin. With a 360-degree round stage designed for the massive crowd, BTS intended to captivate everyone in attendance with their performance. No corner of that stadium was left behind. No angle felt distant. Wherever you stood in Raymond James Stadium that night, BTS came to you. And while we're celebrating Jimin, let's make sure Jungkook gets his moment too, because his whole look on day 2 was its own kind of statement. Jungkook highlighted a flashy style at the second day of the Tampa concert by wearing a red t-shirt with Tampa written in English, along with a chain necklace, earrings, and even a piercing. A red t-shirt that literally said Tampa on it. This is so characteristically Jungkook, this sweet, genuine, deeply personal way of honoring every city they visit. It wasn't a designer outfit. It wasn't a styled look from a fashion house. It was a simple red shirt that said exactly where he was and made it clear he was proud to be there. And then he wore it with chains and earrings and his whole effortlessly cool energy. And the result was a Jungkook who looked like the most authentic version of himself. Free, confident, and absolutely electric on stage. That Jungkook, in his red Tampa shirt, with his chains, with that energy, standing next to Jimin in his flowing blonde hair and his god-tier stage presence, touching each other's hair and smiling in that way that the whole world has been losing its mind over for years. Yeah, Tampa Day 2 was something special. And while we're celebrating the artistry, we also need to acknowledge the staggering real-world impact of this event, because BTS doesn't just fill stadiums. They reshape economies. The Tampa Concert 2026 was expected to bring an economic windfall of around $900 million. $900 million. From 3 nights of concerts. In one city. Hotels fully booked weeks in advance. Restaurants setting sales records. Local merchandise stores selling out within hours of opening. Rideshare platforms hitting their highest demand numbers in the city's history. Fans from across the US and around the globe flocked to Tampa. For many local fans, the kickoff marked a major moment. It was the first time the K-pop phenomenon had performed in Florida, and as a group since going on hiatus almost 4 years ago. People flew in from Europe. People took weeks off work. People who had been saving for years finally got to spend their savings on the thing that mattered most to them. People who had made friends online through their love of BTS finally got to stand in the same stadium with those friends. Athena Ghana from New York met up with family from the Philippines for the Tampa concert. Cameron Terry and Rachel Jackson from Atlanta said they had waited 6 years to watch BTS perform. 6 years. Imagine waiting 6 years for a moment, and then that moment finally arrives, bigger and more beautiful than anything you could have imagined when you started waiting. That's what Tampa was for hundreds of thousands of people. Back home, in every time zone around the world, fans who couldn't be in Tampa were glued to their screens, to fan live streams, to Twitter updates, to TikTok clips uploaded in real time. The Jungkook hair-touching moment spread across every platform simultaneously. In Indonesia, Jungkook Tampa trended immediately. Fan edits set to romantic background music circulated within the hour. In Korea, entertainment portals reported on Jimin's domination of the American trending charts. In Europe, ARMY who stayed up through the night to follow live updates flooded social media with their reactions. Everything from hysterical crying to 1,000-word threads analyzing every second of every performance. The fan cam capturing Jungkook watching and touching Jimin's hair became the single most shared clip from the entire night. On TikTok, that specific clip reached millions of views in under 24 hours. On YouTube, compilation videos of Jungkook moments from Tampa Day 2 gained hundreds of thousands of views within hours of being uploaded. The Jungkook community, which has always known how to celebrate a moment, went into full archival mode. Frame-by-frame analysis threads, gesture interpretation discussions, and dozens of new fan art pieces, all created within hours of the concert ending. Tampa may be over, but the Arirang World Tour is nowhere near finished. The Tampa concert concluded with the performance on the 28th, and the North American tour will continue at Sun Bowl Stadium in El Paso on May 2nd and 3rd. El Paso, you need to be ready. Because the BTS that is coming to your city is a BTS that just came off one of the most talked about concert nights of 2026. Fresh, fired up, and clearly operating at a level that even their most devoted fans are struggling to fully process. The 85-date, 34-city tour, with 31 North American performances already sold out, proves that BTS has returned with relevance and drawing power just as strong, if not stronger, than before their enlistment. So what was it, really, that made Tampa Day 2 so different and so unforgettable? It wasn't one single thing. It was everything happening at once. It was Jimin and his legendary hair performing like a living, breathing work of art. It was Jungkook who couldn't, and didn't even try to, hide his fascination. It was that hair-touching moment that warmed the heart of everyone who saw it, shipper or not. It was the sound glitch that became proof of ARMY's love when 60,000 voices filled the silence without being asked. It was Jungkook going on Instagram to take personal responsibility for something that wasn't even entirely his fault, and ARMY loving him even harder for it. It was the freestyle dances, the surprise old songs, the tears, and the screaming and the purple lights on every bridge in the city. It was BTS, 7 people who after 4 years away, after military service, after missing the stage and missing their fans, coming back with more fire than they have ever had before. If this video made you smile, cry unexpectedly, or feel that familiar flutter in your chest that only BTS can cause, then you just experienced a tiny fraction of what 60,000 people felt in Tampa that night. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell because we are covering every single stop of the BTS Arirang World Tour until this thing wraps up. Drop a comment below, which moment from Tampa Day 2 absolutely wrecked you the most? The Jungkook hair moment? The magic shop glitch? Jimin's freestyle? Jungkook's red Tampa shirt? I want to know everything. Until the next one, stay purple, stay ARMY. Purple Heart.